just want to share this quick little vlog I shot on the Canon M6 Mark II using the EFM 11 to 22mm lens. And I just shot this sort of an example, give people an idea of what you could expect if you wanted to use this lens and this camera in a sort of a vlogging type setup. And I've got some sort of cinematic shots in there as well, so you can sort of get an idea of what this lens-body combination can produce. I actually shot this during the time of the bushfires in Australia. I'm in Victoria, so there might be some stuff that you're kind of interested in there as well. And then at the end of the video, I will come back and sort of talk to you about this lens and this camera combination and sort of the settings I use and sort of what I've discovered from using this lens over the years. Just walking around doing some shooting with the 11 to 22 today, and I thought I'd just shoot a little video just so if you were thinking about getting this lens and using it with the M6 Mark II, you kind of have an idea of what that footage would look like and how it might work for a vlogging situation. Now I'll apologize if I sound a bit short of breath. I actually am, because there's such a huge amount of smoke haze in the air at the moment that it actually makes it somewhat hard to breathe. And in fact, I've only come out for a few minutes and I'm going to go back in the house because really you're not supposed to be out in these conditions. Yeah, the smoke inhalation could be fairly hazardous. So this is the state of affairs with the smoke haze in Victoria at the moment. It is absolutely disgusting, and in fact it's considered hazardous conditions and everybody's supposed to stay indoors and turn your air conditioning on, recycle, and not suck any of this smoke in. We were hoping to get up early and get a hike in. The wind was supposed to change direction and clear this out, but it obviously hasn't. So we're not going to be doing the hike and sucking all this nasty stuff into our lungs. And yeah, we're going to go sit in the cabin for another who knows how many days. I'll give you a look around. It is so bad. And this is all coming from bushfires that are hundreds and hundreds of kilometers away, and they're saying that this smoke has now reached South America and is causing hazardous smoke conditions there. So it's just unbelievable how much is burning here. They've at least all the emergencies are out, like there's no longer any emergency warnings, so like that's good. The threat to most properties is under control, but there's just still so much forest burning, and the pollution right now is the real problem we've got. As you can see by this tree, it's been burned at some point, and bushfires are really a part of Australia's history and the Australian landscape. In fact, there are many plants that only regenerate when there are fires, so it's actually in some ways a critical part of the landscape of Australia. But this massive fire we're having now is sort of unprecedented, and I think it's the biggest one in recorded history. Might be one of the biggest ones in the recorded history of the world, I'm not sure, but it is absolutely massive. But you can see a lot of these trees, even after they burn, they do survive. Here's another one where the trunk, see if I can get that in shot, the trunk is all burned, but it's actually come back and regenerated. But as we walk around, you will see that some of the trees don't make it, but it's surprising how many actually do. In fact, well, there's a big one there that didn't make it. Where is it? Yeah, right there. So a few of them don't make it, but certainly a number of them do. Here's another one with a big burned trunk, but you'll see that it's still alive. But then on the ground here you can see there's a big burned trunk. So there are the remnants of bushfires everywhere. And this bushfire that came through this area, I think, was something like 7 years ago or 8 years ago or something like that. But as you travel around Australia, you will always come across these burnt landscapes, stands of burnt trees, or what you have here now, which is a number of trunks that are burnt, but a lot of trees that have survived. And you can see these, that sort of burn is actually starting to wear off over time, and those trees have actually survived. So what you can see behind me is just smoke as far as you can see. Actually, the town center is just down there, and normally you would be able to see it. You can kind of just make it out, but it's just pure white, and as the sun comes through and hits that smoke, it just creates this incredibly dense haze, And yeah, it literally is like pea soup. It's unbelievable how thick the smoke is today. So I've had sort of a love-hate relationship with this lens over the years, and it certainly, with its wide angle, is without question the best lens for vlogging. But I've often found that my footage wasn't nearly as sharp as I would like it to be. And after sort of playing with the aperture a bit and doing some test shoots, what I've actually discovered is this lens is really at its sharpest, probably somewhere between f4 and f6, f5.6, where most lenses seem to get sharper and sharper as you go up to sort of f8, f9, and then they start to soften because of diffraction. This lens seems to start to soften around f7.1, f7, something like that. So I've started to use the lens more with a little bit more open aperture between that f4 and f5.6, and I'm finding I am getting much better results. As far as how I set it up with the camera, I use the lens stabilization only. I find if you introduce the digital stabilization, you start to get some sort of funny jumping wobbly images. So I strictly use the in-lens stabilization. I don't use any of the digital stabilization when I'm using this lens. And one of the other problems I have with this lens is I find it's not a good all-rounder lens. It is just a true walk-around vlogging wide-angle lens. But the 22 millimeter zoomed all the way in, it just doesn't give me enough subject isolation. It doesn't really, if I'm trying to shoot something that's really cinematic, I just don't have that ability to really crop in on somebody's face and capture those emotions like I'd like. And for that purpose, I much prefer as an all-around lens either the 18-55 or the 15-45. So this lens sits in my bag just purely as a wide angle and landscape lens and as a vlogging lens. And in those ways, it is absolutely excellent for those purposes. But I find, you know, there's only so much of that sort of content that I actually create and that sort of video that I shoot. So it just doesn't get used quite as much as I sort of hoped it would. If you are interested in the M6 Mark II or any of the EFM lens system, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm currently doing a series of 100 videos on this camera and this lens system. So stay tuned for more content like that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.